day to all participants, and good days to all my Muslim friends who are now fasting. I hope Indonesia are not breaking fast now. So if you do, so sorry. Malaysia, we have at 7:30, no problem. Okay, I also want to thank to the organizer, Ivan, Optima, and Sipoxy for inviting NASH. So before I proceed, I would like to inform you about NASH a bit, just to inform you. I'm representing NASH, 150,000 members. The members are, we have diverse commodities, mainly involved in oil palm and rubber, and other is pepper and so on. So let me share my presentation. See, the topics was given to me, how sustainable vegetable oil production contributes to SDGs. I think all the speakers have talked about SDGs. I think we have no doubt that the smallholders, the vegetable oil, especially palm oil, contribute to the successful implementation of SDGs. So for me, I would just focus on the measuring oil palm smallholders' contribution in Malaysia. Okay, I just want to share with you how these smallholders come into being in the smallholders sector. So for Malaysia, the government are really pushing for the smallholders. In the early days of the introduction of oil palm in Malaysia, because of good weather and good production, as well as good income from the smallholders. So the government are encouraging policy like economic policies like eradication of poverty. So in this case, that they introduced palm oil. So first they introduced the scheme, the land scheme for the smallholders. This is what they call it, what they call Jasuki Zantan called. So what Rafiq called just now is called dependent smallholders. These are the government smallholders, which from the day one, they are being nurtured by the government. And then of course, when they come to the second phase of development of smallholders, whereby the government start to go for diversification as well as income strategy. So more processing plant has been built in Malaysia, and surrounding the processing plant, they emerge what they call it, the independent smallholders. So these independent smallholders, they are very independent. They don't support the government in a way. Nevertheless, the government indirectly support them in terms of controlling them. So that's why the Malaysian government, we are very, very particular about oil, and we have a body which in charge. We have a law, under MPOB to really control the industry. So now let me share with you this our contribution to GDP. You see? Okay, Malaysian contribution to GDP. As you see, our GDP in 2021 in the current term is 1.5 trillion ringgit. So as you can see from this GDP, the agro-commodity sector, which comprises of palm oil, rubber, and other agricultural products, which contribute to nearly 84.3 billion ringgit. So this is a very good portion of the economics. So as you can see from this GDP, the government are really looking to GDP, this contribution, because most of the contribution is come from the farmers, the mass, the population, the people from the village. Okay, so this is very important. Even though the 84 contributors might not be even 2 or 3% of the total contribution, but this contribution representing the population. So this is very competitive. So in terms of 84.3 million, palm oil alone as one vegetable oil in Malaysia contribute to 53.4%, half, more than half. So this is very important. This is very important that the government must have kind of policy to really protect this industry. So that's why you can see when the Malaysian government plan for economic planning year to year, palm oil is one of the vegetable oil that we should look into. And because of this, the challenges is there. You see the challenges, as what Tan Sri Yusuf mentioned just now, as what everybody mentioned just now, the movement down and up prices will make the smallholders become poor again if the price of smallholders go down. So in this way, so now the current challenge we are facing is sustainable palm oil. We have to produce sustainable palm oil. So because of this, the Malaysian government has made it mandatory for certification of palm oil. It's not a voluntary, it's mandatory. 1st January 2020, all Malaysian CPO production must be sustainable. That is mandatory. So hopefully there is a moratorium, maybe 1 or 2 years. By 2022, maybe we are hoping that all the production from Malaysia are, we call it certified sustainable palm oil. Okay, this is very important. So now you can see how important is it. So it's very important. So under this scheme, we are promoting Malaysian sustainable palm oil. Even though there is RSPO, other things, but we are really promoting Malaysian sustainable This is homegrown. We know what we are doing. We know what we are producing. We know the quality that we produce. We know the standard of GP. You know the people. Everything is there. Okay, this is very important. So mandatory MSPO is now being implemented in Malaysia. Now let me go to the next slides here. It's how I want to measure the oil palm sector contribution towards SDG. So Pak Zulkifli Alam Shah have mentioned everything. So the contribution is very, very significant. We cannot deny that. Everywhere, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brazil, anywhere, palm oil, who plant palm oil is a very good, very cheap oil and very conducive, very competitive oil. So now I want to show you, if you look at it, the formula is very simple. From sustainable MSPO, I just focus on MSPO, to SDGs. Now you have three principles of MSPO. We are now looking at three principles. In these three principles also, there are also including the 5 pillars in the SDG. So the formula of SDG is 5P, 3 plus another 2 P's. The 3 P's is planet, prosperity. There they are there already. The people, the planet is there already. We just to include the two more P's, the pillars of to become S5 is the what you call it, global partnership and peace. But all these elements, these pillars are inbuilt in MSPO. There is no problem of achieving the 5 SDG in a very near future. That is for Malaysia. I quite okay. Just to inform you, in Malaysia, the people, I'm talking about people and for the MSPO. For MSPO in Malaysia, there is one government we call the Nation Palm Oil Board. They are very actively doing it for the smallholders, and we have the private sectors, and we also come out with another organization by the government. We call it MPOCC, Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council. We have one council which is looking into this sustainable issue. So now let's look at the people in the MSPO. You see the people. Okay. First, it takes about right of employee and stakeholders protected. For the smallholder, right of employee, I can say to you, there's no problem. We have under our act, there's no forced labor. Everyone is saying that Malaysia has forced labor. I don't think there is, because we have a very strict law on that, on forced labor. So that's one thing. The second, stakeholders. Now, I want to tell you where the smallholders are now. Where is our position in MSPO? Because MSPO is very important to us. To me, is that we don't care what certification scheme that you have, as long as it's certified, that should could be enough for the world. So in our case, we have the number of smallholders in Malaysia certified with MSPO in December 2021. It's nearly 459,000 smallholders. This comprises of 83.3%, 83% of total smallholders in Malaysia. We have only to achieve another 15% to become 100% certified. And for the independent smallholders, we have the total number from that. We have 49% independent, and the 23 is the other one is the dependent smallholders. And then to inform you that all sectors, all the way along the value chain in the palm oil industry, all certified 100%, from the mills, the refinery, the oleochemicals, the downstream, the estate, except only for the independent smallholders. We are a little bit slow, but we are going toward 100%, hopefully by year 2022. So in a very broader scenario, by 2022, Malaysia will be producing sustainable palm oil. There's no issue of Malaysia are not producing sustainable palm oil. This should be the thinking of the people that sustainable is not that difficult to produce, but we are there already. So under the area certified, total area of palm oil in Malaysia is 5.87 million hectares. Okay, 4.31 million hectare estate, all have been certified 100% under MSPO. I'm talking about MSPO. And 1.6 million hectares under smallholders, 83.3% have been certified. Under that area, you can see the dependent smallholders, 100% certified. That's why I call which under the government. The independent smallholders, we are 69.7%. That means there is a space of maybe not even 30%. 35% should be certified. Hopefully by year 2022, we can certify all this. Okay. Now we go to the prosperity. Now we have in the first thing this I mentioned to you is that we are doing big best practice in business. We are very transparent in doing our business. There's no problem in that. So we are make sure. But the issue is that when you look at our export on palm oil, the export value into the is 108.5 billion. And these are depending on the export price. And who is the one who control the export price? Not us. The smallholders, we don't know about the price. We only are price taker. We didn't know. But because of 80% of our export to the world, so the price is determined by the buyer. So you must have this kind of thinking that to be a partnership, this is the global partnership under the 5G pillars, the buyers also must be in partner with the producers. So you must really consider our effort to go toward SDG or the 17 SDGs. But at the same time, you must be very passionate about our effort. It's not saying that the problem of anti-palm oil is not good, palm oil is that should not be played by this producer. Because as you can see now, you look at you are really looking at the forest or some kind of thing. You can see because of Ukraine war, Russia. Why? Iceland is turning 360. They are going to buy palm oil. The European Union said they are going to buy palm oil. So is that a palm oil is problem for deforestation? No, it's only market, nothing to do with deforestation. Yes, there is maybe, but well, as Tan Sri Yusuf mentioned, that's not a big issue, a very small issue, just a needle issue in the ocean. So this is something that if you have to the participant here, maybe from everybody, please recognize that the smallholders who produce 40% of the total world production, palm oil is produced by smallholders. Malaysia, Indonesia, all the producing country, you can say 40% of them come from smallholders. Only 60% come from the big business. So can you see, because these are the oils that really contribute to SDG. If you work against it, then you are the one who work against achieving SDGs, not the smallholders. So this is, so in terms of conserving the forest, I can tell you, Malaysia are very committed. We have NDP, we have no pit, and then we have kept our 6.5 million. We are not going to expand that is mandatory. There is a law there. So we are really working toward achieving SDGs. So from the three pillars to SP, there's no problem. We are only to achieve the two pillars, the peace and the partnership. So the partnership is just very important. Next, okay, Malaysia fully support the US Sustainable Development Goals. So I don't want to mention, as Pak Zulkifli mentioned, in Indonesia, there are a lot of achievement in 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And of course, the first, Matthew also has come out, the positive effect of palm oil. So I don't want to repeat everything. So just as you mentioned, that as one of the primary exporter for biggest vegetable oil, Malaysia has succeeded to eliminate poverty. That's I can say, and fulfill 9 of the 17 SDGs going to the 500,000 smallholders and more than 1 billion of household members. This is very important fact. This is a fact. This is not something that I just take from there. It's a fact. So hopefully that the people out there, the participants, really can look at the contribution of smallholders, not in Malaysia alone. It might be from over the world and Indonesia. But for Malaysia, the government are really fully supporting the smallholders to get certified at the end of the day. And then, so for this in Malaysia, I don't want to mention, because I don't have much time. So I don't want to mention one by one, but I don't want to mention the element of SDG. So I just leave it. If there is any question, I can just answer the question. Well, for MSU, I just repeat the thing MSU. MSU is Simulation Developed Standard. I can tell you it's local grown, that we know what we are doing. Then for all pump standard have been mandatory, I mentioned to you, by the government. The principle of element for upstream and downstream sectors guaranteed, can say guaranteed, the production of sustainable palm oil. So what is the problem? So MSU program provide a continuous improvement to achievement of SDG. So we are very close to achievement of SDG. And there is no problem, there is no issues in that. Of course, yes, but the perception from the consumer must be turned around in such a way that we are a partner to this business. We are a partner to Brazil. Like now, you can see when the Ukraine war, you can see people are turning back to palm oil. Why? Is that the palm oil now killing animals? No, we don't do that. In fact, in Malaysia, we are protecting the animals. Come to Malaysia and see for yourself. I think it's not in Malaysia alone, in Indonesia also, and everywhere. We are protecting. We have to want to make sure that the world in peace, and good living for human and animal. Don't focus on animal alone. You have to focus on the human. So palm oil is the best oil for the farmers to increase income, and of course, to maintain sustainable income in future. So finally, conclusion. So palm oil is the only vegetable oil that contributes to the nation's economic development, directly contribute to UN SDG. So smallholders in Malaysia, 40%. I can say all over the world, I look at the epoxy statistic, nearly 40% of the smallholders contributing to the world production of palm oil. So can somebody think of anti-palm oil lobby? If you are doing that, this anti, you are creating sins to the smallholders. I don't agree with the anti-palm oil lobby. That's how I can tell. Because I'm now working for the smallholders. I know when the price is very low, when the price touches 300 ringgit below in Malaysia, the farmers are not become poor again. So please, now the price are equal. So hope this price now is maintained. Palm oil, I mentioned the palm contribute to 3% of total Malaysian GDP. More than 3% of palm oil national have been certified. This is the issue, certification. So what I'm telling you to tell you that the world is that is irrespective of what scheme or certification should not be the issue. Either MSO, ISPO, RSPO, whatever POPO is there, must be certified, must be accepted by the world. If Malaysia come in MSO, you have to really recognize Malaysian MSO today, not tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow. I want this message to be clear to the world. Everybody must accept certification, no matter where it comes from, and come to the country and look for yourself whether the certification is right or wrong. Well, I don't think there is any difference by MSO, RSPO, or whatever. But for MSO, is more diligently drafted because it was done by the producer, it was done by the dealer, it was done by the people are really working on the field. Not it was dictated by by other people. So this is something that we must be really looked into. So one thing I want to just inform you. See, when we unfortunately the contribution of smaller sustainable demand is go unnoticed. This I can say by the consumer, and that's why a lot of campaign by the West indirectly working achievement of mission energy. What I mean here is that you see the Malaysian the smaller produce, but they didn't see that the sustainable palm oil, the certified sustainable palm, 40% come from the smallholders. So when you do anti-palm oil campaign, like Haji also mentioned just now, you are really taking 40% of the population that depend on palm oil. This is very important. This is very important message, take-home message. Everybody has to listen, and everybody has to really help the smallholders. Don't turn the clock back. Instead of eradicating poverty, you are the one to support the poverty in the developed country. Please help us to maintain the price. So please reduce the anti-palm oil lobby. You see, a lot of people say, why you must take palm oil has been proven to be the cheapest oil. You can have a cheapest oil. Everybody are happy with it. So we are going to foster peace and global partnership, the 2 P's which finalize the total 5 P's SDG. So I'm here. Thank you very much.